and welcome back. So welcome to your first session of how to use the strategic hypnotic interview to uncover unconscious clues. So let me give you the idea of how the strategic hypnotic interview came about and why it's so important that you understand the mindset of a great hypnotist. I first want to put you in the position, even if this is your first time, to put you in the position of actually seeing a client. So for some of you, I might be fast forwarding ahead of time, but just imagine for the sake of this video and this training program that you are seeing a client. Let me give you an idea of how clients will come to see you, what they'll talk to you about, and how you can start to investigate a client's problem and why it's crucial for your success and your client's success and the longevity of your career to do this properly. When a client comes to see you, they're coming to see you for things like stop smoking, weight loss, addictions, phobias, fears, habits, anything you can think of that's an affliction, that's a negative response in their life, a client can come to see you for. So they're going to book you as a hypnotist, and your goal as a hypnotist is to help cure them, to help heal them, and to help overcome this with them so they can live a more fulfilling and abundant life. So let's take a classical example of a stop smoking client. A client will come to see you ready to obviously quit smoking. Usually your clients will come to see you representing the bad and the negative state, and they want the opposite of that. So if a client's a smoker, in most cases you'll find they want to be a non-smoker. If a client has weight issues, the same rules apply. Your client will want to lose weight. If your client's embarrassed, scared, or afraid, they just want the opposite of that. Now this may seem simple, but I believe it's one of the most fundamental mistakes that hypnotists make when working with clients. When a client presents what is called context, that's the reason they're there, that's the stop smoking or the weight loss. What we can tend to fall into, and this is definitely a case in the more classical and impractical versions of hypnosis that are more script driven. It means that the hypnotist thinks, well, okay, my client's coming to see me for a stop smoking session. The best thing I can do is get my stop smoking script, or I have stop smoking techniques for that. If you're under that assumption or you're in that mindset, for the sake of this training, I want you to put that aside for now, because I'm about to reveal something to you that a lot of hypnotists do not know, or if they do know, overlook. When a client presents a problem to you, the context again of I need to quit smoking or I want to lose weight. A problem that a client has does not exist in the conscious mind. As you're well aware, we have two parts of the mind. We have the conscious mind and the unconscious or subconscious mind. Now we'll refer to it as the unconscious mind for the sake of this training. So when you sit down, your client says, well, I'll use my example, Scott, I really want to quit smoking. If I go ahead and jump into a stop smoking script, if that's what I decided to do, or that's what I was using at the time, or a simple stop smoking technique, and there are millions out there, I'm doing something incredibly incorrect at that point. The problem my client tells me consciously is not the problem. I'll repeat that to you, and I will explain. You'll also see on the Bodo's footage exactly this understanding. Now, this is a mindset shift for you as a hypnotist that is crucial. Your mindset and what you believe in and what you understand is more fundamentally important than any technique you can understand yourself. So when a client sits in my office or our office, says, Scott, I want to quit smoking, or Scott, I want to lose weight, or Scott, I want to overcome this phobia I have. What they're giving you is a conscious interpretation of the problem. We know by now, if you've done enough of our courses, you've followed our literature, you've followed our blogs, maybe you've been to other courses before, it's nothing new, but it's a rule that a lot of hypnotists don't understand and forget about. All of our problems, bar none, exist in the unconscious mind, which is why we use something called trance, which is hypnosis, to get rid of conscious thinking or that conscious interpretation in order to directly influence the unconscious mind, because that's where the problem is and that's where the solution's going to need to start from. We have to learn unconsciously first. We have to destroy our problems unconsciously first. So when a client says, I want to quit smoking, or I want to lose weight, or I need to get over this phobia, I need to make more money, I need more sophistication in my life, I need to stop being embarrassed. If you fall into the trap of jumping head first into using a technique, you are fixing the incorrect problem. What your client presents to you from that first question, which is, what do you want to work on? Or they just tell you straight out what they're here for today. They are giving you their conscious interpretation, and they're giving you what's called a circumstance. The circumstance of the problem that exists in the unconscious mind is exhibited consciously through an action. I'll give you that again. The problem that exists in the unconscious mind exhibits an action at the conscious level. So it means that there is something known classically as the root cause of a problem. Think of this as weeding a garden. Let's imagine that the weed that you see above the surface, above the soil, is this quote unquote stop smoking issue or weight loss issue or phobia issue. If you were to just go ahead and rip the top of the weed off, what is left? Well, you'd probably agree that the root that is underneath the soil is left. And over time, if not treated and poisoned properly, that weed will come right on back and probably a little bit stronger because now it's resilient. So our job as a hypnotist and with the strategic hypnotic interview is we need to dig under the soil, pull out that weed from the root first. By doing this, we're not allowing that root to grow again. So the same things apply as a hypnotist. If we do not use the strategic hypnotic interview, which I'm going to teach you the classical version of this, the easy and the most novice and the easiest to grasp version of the strategic hypnotic interview. Plus, again, you have that bonus footage to see a more advanced structure around it as well. If we do not use the strategic hypnotic interview correctly, all that's going to happen is we're just going to work on the surface problem, which is I can't quit smoking. I can't lose weight. I can't make money. He'll never love me. What we need to do in order for our clients to have lifelong change, avoid relapse, and avoid that problem coming back is get underneath first. So what we do with a strategic hypnotic interview is we're going to ask certain questions around a client's problem to find out what's really happening, to find out what's the mindset around this problem for them. What's keeping this problem existing? Why is this problem there? For what purpose does this problem serve this client? If we jump straight in head first that this is a stop smoking session or a weight loss session or just an anxiety session and don't deal with the root cause underneath, that problem will come right on back. So the strategic hypnotic interview allows some certain questions to be asked to find out what is really going on. If the stop smoking or the weight loss is a circumstance of the conscious mind, we need to find out why is the unconscious mind keeping that problem there. We know the unconscious mind loves to work towards health, is always trying to fix us, and always trying to cure us, and always trying to make us well in life. So why is it that it's so attached to this problem? If it realizes that this is a problem, the unconscious mind, why does the unconscious mind get rid of it? That's what we need to find out. And you'll be pleasantly surprised that the problem your client wants to work on will not be the problem you as the hypnotist work on for them. But understanding this is important. This is that mindset shift already. For you as the hypnotist, you will find that the problem your client wants to work on consciously, which is the smoking, the weight loss, the phobias, the addictions, is not what you'll actually work on as the hypnotist. By finding out certain ideas, mindset, by asking certain questions to your client, they'll actually present to you the real issue, the real unconscious root cause, and the real problem that the unconscious mind needs to fix. And as a side benefit, once that problem unconsciously is resolved, the conscious level issue of the smoking, the weight loss, will take care of itself. So let me give you this. This is the mindset I need you to have for this program and for your longevity as a hypnotist. The problem your client gives you is rubbish. That's the easiest way I can present this to you. The problem your client needs to work on is not what they tell you, being this reason only. A client can only tell you consciously an amalgamation or assumption about their problem. Why? Because the conscious mind cannot penetrate the unconscious mind and find out what's really going on. It's why for you sitting at home watching this, you might find that your problems seem to exist no matter how much you try and get rid of them. Have you ever tried to lose weight and notice after a couple of weeks, it gets harder and harder and harder and you fall off your diet over and over again? We call this the yo-yo dieting. Have you ever found that you can save a little bit of money, then you lose it? You save a little money, then you lose it. Maybe you have relationships, then they break up. You have another relationship and you break up. If you were to go see a hypnotist working on relationship issues and they only fixed the relationship issue at the top, you'll find that same pattern, that same loop that you're caught in will exist and will keep on existing, and you'll be stuck on this emotional roller coaster. So the strategic hypnotic interview, as you move into how to do it, is finding out what is really going on. Understand that mindset, that what a client tells you is not the real problem, because they don't know what it is. If we look at smoking as an example, there are many ways that the government, through advertising and the pictures on the stop cigarette on the cigarette boxes, is trying to help people quit smoking by having bad pictures and images to hopefully scare people out of it. They also talk about, you may have seen the adverts that talk about how to quit smoking or steps you can take. But why is it that not only is the percentage of smokers growing, but the percentage of smokers who try and quit is also growing as well? It's because it's not working on the real issue. If it was as easy enough to work on the issue consciously, we would never have problems in our life. That's why we need to hire someone like a therapist to intervene, and hopefully the therapist does a good enough job in order to find out what is really occurring. And this is where the strategic hypnotic interview excels. So that's the mindset of using the strategic hypnotic interview. Some of those ideas may take a little bit of time to experience for yourself and understand, which is why I suggest to rewatch this video again. But let's move on to the next video, where we're going to learn a couple of ways we can start the hypnotic interview to give you some more understanding of why it's so important. But also remember, you have that bonus footage at the end that's going to allow you to see it live in action, and myself actually teaching advanced therapists how to use it strategically. So when you're ready, jump over to the next video. Again, keep that notepad and pen. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.